Students, today we are going to discuss the third chapter of Flamingo, a book which is prescribed for your English core class 12, Deep Water. Deep Water is written by William O. Douglas, an American writer. William O. Douglas has written this piece as an autobiographical story. Means the story is of his own life, his adventure, his difficulties level while learning swimming and other water sports. As in India, we have cricket, we have hockey, we have tennis, lawn tennis, table tennis, and other games, of which cricket is the most popular one. In the same way, in America, in United States, the most popular sports is swimming. You would have heard about Michael Phelps. He is an American who has bagged a number of gold medals in Olympics and other places. William O. Douglas gives the description of his life when he has developed the fear of water, how he overcome it, and how he becomes world's number one swimmer. The story starts with the description of his coming to his father and his father taking him to the beach. His father, when he was 3 or 4 years old, his father used to take him to the beach in the morning. Sometimes the high streams take him away, snatch him away from his father's lap, and he used to be buried from toe to head in water. His mother used to told him that don't go near water bodies, don't go near Yakima River because the river is very treacherous. It may kill you. Yesterday, two children died and lost their lives. 5 days ago, 7 people lost in that river, and so on and so forth. So, these things put a type of fear in the mind and heart of William O. Douglas. But since swimming or water sports like canoeing, rafting, boating, fishing, swimming, these are the common sports of America. So William O. Douglas could not hold him for long and his passion for water. He decides to learn how to swim. In America, where he used to live, there was a YMCA swimming pool. He goes to that swimming pool to learn how to swim. That time, William Douglas was 11-year old, and he has seen there that the children of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years are swimming in a most comfortable manner, in an easier manner, using all the strokes while swimming. For the first few days, William O. Douglas sits there and keeps on watching the young children learning how to swim. William Douglas was a very skinny boy, lean and thin boy, and he doesn't want to show his thin legs and thin hands. But one cannot swim putting on all the clothes. That's why William O. Douglas, after a few days, 3 4 days, William O. Douglas put off his clothes and went into the swimming pool wearing the air wings. Now the question arises, what is air wing or what are air wings? The life jackets in which air is filled, the rubber jacket in which air is filled, or the tube you may have seen in which air is filled, which prevents a person from drowning, especially a learner or a new person who doesn't know how to swim. Such type of person wear air wings. He put on air wings and then he goes into the swimming pool. For the first few days, he learned by aping the other children beside him. Aping means copying other children. The way they put their hands, their feet, the same way William O. Douglas also tries to do that. For the first 2 3 days, everything was normal and smooth. The fourth day, William O. Douglas reaches that YMCA swimming pool early in the morning. That time, no one was there in that YMCA swimming pool. And though he had the air wings, but he doesn't have the courage to wear them and to go into the swimming pool alone. That's why he sits beside the swimming pool and he starts waiting for others to come. Because in case of any type of incident, any type of bad experience, no one was there to save him. No one was there to safeguard him. So he better found it to wait for some time for other to come. After a few minutes, an 18-year-old big bruiser, well built, physically well built boy enters YMCA swimming pool. He picks up William O. Douglas and asks, "How skinny? How would you like to be ducked?" And he throws him into the water with these words. And as I told you, William O. Douglas at that point of time doesn't know how to swim. He was a novice, he was a learner, he was new to swim. Now, what happens? That William O. Douglas struggles for life, struggles for oxygen in that YMCA swimming pool, and that time he does not have worn his air wings. He doesn't have any life support. He doesn't have any tube filled with air. And as we have known, that he has just started learning swimming. Now what? He struggles a lot. The water has the quality that when someone drowns in water, he goes down, then he comes up, then goes down, then comes up. In the same way, in that 9 feet deep YMCA swimming pool, William O. Douglas has been struggling for his life. Whenever he tries to catch the rope when he comes out, he clutches only water, not the rope. Those 9 feet is equal to 90 feet for a learner, for a person who doesn't know how to swim. So those 9 feet deep water was like 90 feet for William O. Douglas. While going down, one idea enters into his mind. He has studied the third law of motion given by Isaac Newton, that every action has equal and opposite reaction. And he decides that as soon as his feet will touch the bottom of the swimming pool, he will push it with all his power, all his might, and comes up and holds the rope, and he will come out of that swimming pool. He, while he was going down and down and down, he tries to pull the bottom with his feet with all the power, all the might. But the way he expected to come up, the speed with which he was expecting to coming out, the speed was very low. When he come up and he tries to hold the rope, he holds only water and nothing. And again he is going down. And again coming up. Again going down, again coming up. See the struggle. And suddenly he feels relaxed. He feels as if he's going into deep slumber, deep sleep. His hands and legs become relaxed. The curtain of life was about to fall. Means William O. Douglas is about to die. When he gains his senses, he finds himself lying beside the swimming pool. Someone is pushing his stomach and he's vomiting nothing but water. Someone in the crowd says, "This boy has almost dead." Then that 18-year-old bruiser said, "I was just kidding. I was just joking. I didn't know that this boy doesn't know how to swim." After few hours, William O. Douglas, feeling weak, feeling ill, goes back to his home. He closes himself in his room. His mother calls him many a time to have breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, but he doesn't come out of that room because of that fear. And he keeps on weeping, he keeps on sobbing, he keeps on crying in that room. Because of that experience, he has seen death through his eyes. He was about to die in that YMCA swimming pool at that point of time, when he was thrown by that 18-year-old boy. For many months, William O. Douglas keeps himself shut in his home. He does not go out. His friends go on for swimming, go on for fishing, go on for rafting, go on for boating, go on for canoeing, but he does never go with them because of that experience which he has received, which he has gained in that YMCA swimming pool. But for how many years in a country like America he would keep his veins in control? For how many years? A country where water sports is the most important one. The passion is for water sports only for each and every one's mind and heart. For how long one may hide himself? For how many days one may stop himself? William O. Douglas hires a trainer. And remember that trainer is not from any other country but from USA itself. Full of technical weapons, full of technical things, full of different types of pulley and chain, automatic and all. And the trainer starts giving him the training in the month of April. For the 7 continuous months till October, you may count from April to October, it's 7 months. The trainer holds him through a rope round his waist and dips him into that water in the same swimming pool, that is YMCA swimming pool, using rope and pulley, using chain and pulley. As soon as his hands and feet touch the water, the old fear runs into his mind and heart. His hands and his feet becomes paralyzed. As if it's not working, there is no life, there is no wind. There is no sensation in the hands and feet as soon as they touch the water in that YMCA swimming pool. For 7 months continuous training, first he holds YMCA swimming pools, a rope in his hand. The trainer holds the rope in his hand. The other end holds the vest of William O. Douglas. And he teaches him to put his nose inside the water and exhale, and to put his face outside the water and inhale. For the first few months, this breathing exercise, this way of swimming was taught to him by the trainer. Then for the next 2 months, the trainer teaches him how to use hands in water. For the next 2 months, he teaches him how to use his feet in water, his legs in water. And in the final day of the training, he says, go and swimming back and forth in that YMCA swimming pool. And in front of the trainer, William O. Douglas dives into the water and swim back and forth, 2 times. And the trainer says, my work is over. Now you are ready to swim. But William O. Douglas doesn't have the faith in himself. He wanna check his ability, his courage, whether he is able to swim alone or not. One day, early in the morning, he reaches the swimming pool and he dives into it. In the middle of that YMCA swimming pool, the old fear catches him. The old terror comes to him. And he feels as if his hands and legs are numbing, paralyzing, become senseless. He says, oh fear, don't make me fear. Go away. And he swims towards the back and then forth of that YMCA swimming pool. As many times as the old fear comes to him, he used to say, oh Mr. Fear, don't try to make me fear. Go away. You cannot make me fear. And he swims back and forth many a times. And after that swimming pool, He goes to different types of channels, Yakima River and many other rivers and channels and lakes to check his courage level. That whether he has lost the courage or not, whether he is courageous enough or not, whether he can swim alone or not. And towards the end of this chapter, there is a very important line. Now he is ready to walk the trails and climb the peak. Now the question arises how one can walk the trail. Trail means in a large field. You may have seen. For the continuous going on that field by people or by cattle, a small line comes there. The grass of that place goes away, dies away, and there is a pathway in the middle of that field. That is called trail. Means he is ready to walk on the path where other swimmers of USA, United States of America, have walked on. And he was ready to climb the peak, means he was ready to climb the peak of success, to become world's number one swimmer. So this story teaches us the moral that practice makes a man perfect. Practice makes everyone perfect. Thank you very much. In the next class, we'll discuss the question and answer of this chapter. Take care.